And hello, you lovely listeners. Welcome to Kindasound Radio today on the Reality Bite Show with me, your host, Wendy Smith, and my forever returning guest, which I love him dearly for, Andy Barlow. Andy, thank you for coming back again.
Hi, you're welcome. No, forever returning guest. Makes me sound like a rubber ball. Keeps bouncing back.
Well, we like that. They're the best type of rubber balls, the ones that come back, because we always have a good bit of banter. And it's nice. It always puts a smile on my face when I see you.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
one of them things.
It's my smile, it's just so electric. It just lights the room up. No, I'm joking.
Indeed. Magnetic personality.
Oh, yeah, magnets. There you go.
Yeah, so we were talking before we came on air about numerous different subjects. So I just want to say you've had a bit of time out recently, haven't you, Andy? You've been off over to Spain.
Yes, very much so. It was a bit of well-needed time out because things were getting a bit manic over here. You get to that rat race and you go into the spinning hamster wheel and you're trying to make everything work for everyone else and what we do with the group and everything else. And then we got invited out to Spain. We went out there basically for an emergency run. Someone's house was under attack while they're back in Holland. They said they need someone to stay in their area. So we went out there. We turned up. We got threatened by big corporations, so we had to leave. So we ended up back on Woody and Kirsty's land. We stayed there for 9 weeks, working on the land, trying to return the land back to its previous state, not where it's been raped and pillaged by the farmers, letting nature take over and working with the olives, but also trying to build community. So building the community out there with Woody and Kirsty to allow other people to come out there and experience what it's like to live off grid and be part of a community where everything is shared. So, well, not everything, obviously, but
Yeah.
I don't want to go down that road. Well, some communities might, but no. It's just sorry, I took it the wrong place again. But it's just nice to be able to say, give something back to someone. That's to me what it's all about. It's about working with the community of people out there. And there's so many people now doing this in Spain, from Holland, Belgium, South Africa, Australia, England, etc. All moving out there.
Going off grid.
Yeah,
wow.
because land is so cheap. You're talking 10 acres of land for 9 grand.
Oh, where's that at?
This is in the Aragon region, which is where we're going to try and start raising and see if we can raise money to build a community out there as well. But we've seen like 20 acres of land with running water for about £16,000. And you can do what you want. You know what I mean? The land is yours as long as you don't go and build permanent structures. You can do what you like. But for me, it's just a way of helping other people say, come out, fly to Reus. It's cheap after about 20 quid to fly to Reus. We'll pick you up. Come and live off grid.
So is it northern Spain?
Northern Spain, yeah. Northeast. We're about 3 hours from Barcelona inland.
Oh, okay. Oh, so quite nice. When you got down there, was it, out of curiosity, was it a shock to the system? Did it, to just sort of stop, to be able to stop and...
Yes, it takes a long time. Woody and Kirsty have been doing this for years. They keep going in and out because they've got the land. But like they say, the first week, 10 days, it takes a while for the ringing in the ears to slow down.
Right.
And then 3 weeks is the minimum you need to be there for to suddenly realize what Mother Earth can give you back or what nature can give you back, what the universe can give you back. But for me, it's a question of it. The time I was out there, 2.5 months roughly, it allowed me to find a little bit more about me and find out more about myself, because you're working, digging toilets or building shower blocks or cutting around trees, where you're working with nature and you're on your own, and your mind just stops and nothing comes in. It was one of the most peaceful things I've ever experienced. Was I'm digging a 6-foot toilet. I'm only 5'7", so I'm down in this really great big old digging a toilet, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh look, there's a centipede. Isn't that lovely?" Yeah. Or there's a funnel. Oh, there's a wolf spider or something running around. And it's just, you just don't worry about anything else. You don't worry about what's going back on in the UK. You don't worry about what's going on in your life. You're more interested in what that centipede's doing. And why is the spider chasing it? Oh, look, there's a stream of ants. Let's go and watch what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's weird. But anyone who comes out, it is a shock because there's no Western amenities, for want of a better word. So there's no like flushing toilets, or there's no proper shower blocks or something like that. It's literally you scrimp and save. You have to be frugal with your water, because obviously water is free because you're a farmer, but you have to, because it's in cubes, 1,000-litre cubes, you've got to be careful what you use, because if you have rains, We had when we were out there, torrential rain. We couldn't get off the finca for a week. We're stuck there. Couldn't get to the town. Couldn't get any food. Couldn't get anything. So it makes you realise how you've got to prepare for things. Oh, look, let's talk about prepping. Um, but it's a good experience for anybody to come out there. But it is a bit of a shock to the system first off.
Yeah, just that being, I think that being present is interesting, isn't it? Because what was I listening to the other day? I can't think what it was. I was listening to something the other day. Can't remember who it was by, but it just brought me back into that realization of just making sure you stop and you're present as much
Yeah.
as possible throughout the day. And I've started walking back up the woods again because obviously I lost Caesar, didn't I, a couple of years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought I'm missing it so much. And what I've noticed, it's only been 3 days, but I spend between 20 minutes and an hour up there,
hmm
sitting on trees and things like that, and
Yeah.
just looking. I go for a nice little walk as far as I can, and then I sort of just sit and watch and listen. And I just feel so much better, Andy, when I come out of
Mm.
there. The head feels clearer, the body feels just more balanced. And I went up
Yeah.
today before we've done this and walked into the woods. I went to a different part, and as I was stood there just looking at some trees, and then next to me on a large thistle, one of the big double-winged dragonflies just
Oh
landed right
wow.
next to me at head height. And it was a beautiful, like burnt orange colour, massive. I call them like B-52 bombers, yeah. And I was just staring at it, thinking, you're just absolutely amazing bit of engineering. And then
Mm.
as I turned around, he flew off, or she, and
hmm
then there was about 20 or 30 of them. The more I focused in, they were just all flying around, feeding, chasing each other. And it was just like, wow.
I think that's it. We don't stop to appreciate what's out there.
Mm,
I mean, we went to Woody and Kirsty to some lovely places. We went to a little place called Foncalda, where the fish will come and chew on your feet, etc., and all this lot. But the butterflies and the dragonflies and damselflies, all that, are all flying around, coming up and setting on you and everything else. If you just sit still enough, nature will come to you
yeah,
because it's like we all know, it's energy you're putting out. So if you're putting out, oh, don't come near me, then the little yellow black buggers that come and sting you will come and sting you, but everybody else will stay away. But nature is we don't have enough time for that over here. And unfortunately, it's everything's been taken over by chasing the dream or chasing this fine, chasing this, chasing that, chasing that. It's time for people to stop. Just stop. Go and stand in the middle of a field and scream at the top of your lungs if you need to, or just sit down in wet grass and just admire nature and
yeah,
let your mind calm down. And it does make a difference.
yeah. Having a calm mind, definitely. I know that's
Mm,
probably one of working in the therapy environment. Don't do it as much as I used to. But most people would come in and say to me, I just can't, my mind is so busy. And it's like, because they're always on their phone or they're always on
mm,
their laptop or they're always watching the TV. One thing I've done recently, I've had a little change around of stuff in my house.
yeah.
I've got behind me, you can see, the listeners can't see, but I've got a sofa bed in my office now. And there's obviously no tech in here apart from my laptops, but they're never on in the evening. So
Mm,
in the evening, it's really nice. I've got this lovely little lamp in here. I come and sit in here with a book,
nice.
read a bit of a book, and then I just close my eyes and have a little meditate and a little, I call it imagineering. People freak out normally when they hear the word meditate. They think
Yeah.
they've got to sit there cross-legged with their fingers in some position going,
I'm
oh,
saying, or money animal or whatever.
that's
Yeah.
it for 3 hours. You haven't. Like meditation for me means just closing my eyes and thinking about things that I want to do or
Mm,
nice experiences that I've had throughout the day. And it
yeah.
could be something as simple as, that dragonfly.
Mm,
Just being able to see something that beautiful, that close
yeah.
for a period of time. That's a really nice thing to be thankful for, isn't it?
It
And
is. I mean, you're saying about your tech and everything else. That's one thing I learned when I was in Spain was the first week, 10 days, I always had my phone with me. Because, oh, what if someone wants help with this? What if someone wants help with that? And then after that, I just left it in the van. And I'd look at it in the morning, clear my messages, whatever anybody wants help with. And then I thought, do you know what? No, I don't need that. Nothing's that important. If people want my time, they'll book a time with me. They don't. I don't have to spend all my life, all my energy on waiting for someone to come to me. Now
mm,
it's time for me. And it's literally was that. I mean, Jen says, I've messaged you. Where are you? I said, well, I'm up the top of the finger. Well, that's why I didn't have my phone, so you couldn't get hold of me. But it was great because I just didn't rely on my tech. It was great.
yeah, that's what, like I say, we need more of it. something we'll probably get on this subject in a minute. We'll play a song in a minute, but something that I'd like to sort of broach with you and get your thoughts on at the moment are the children and what they're going through. Because I met one yesterday, and it's as if our children have got to the point where they just don't know how to communicate. I'm not talking all of them, because if you come from a family that doesn't let you sit with your tech at a dinner table and makes you go out, so you can't just sit in your room texting your friends, you know, makes you. I think there's still a few kids about that are pretty savvy and they've got it together. But I think it comes down to the parenting. But I met one yesterday, and it was like watching this little soulless being who didn't know how to communicate with you, was staring at the floor, just wanted to sit and stare into their phone. You know, they just look mildly anemic because apparently they don't go outside. And it's just tech. Tech is it's very helpful, but it's killing us off.
No, it is. It's the dopamine hit that you need. So if you put your phone down and literally you watch, I mean, I've done it since I've been back. I sit my phone down and I sit there and go, oh, actually, hang on, my brain's telling me I need that another hit. And unfortunately, it's all subliminal messaging within there as well. It's all the frequencies in there that's causing the disturbance in the brain. That's causing these kids to be these soulless little creatures. We've got to change that. They're our future.
I know we keep saying this, and it sounds like a bit of a cliche, doesn't it? But they are our future, and there's so many things happening with these guys at the minute that are just so bad.
Oh, isn't there?
Bad Moon Rising, Creedence Clearwater Revival. I love this song.
It's brilliant. Really? Why did I choose that one? Well, we've gone through a lot of crap recently with the Truth Movement and everything else, and every time there's a full moon, it feels like there's sort of a wave of energy comes through. And the last super moon, there's a lot of bad energy coming through me to expose certain areas of me. And I just thought this is a great tune because it is. The bad moon was rising, and now I'm clear, so it's great.
Love a bit of that, Django. If you wouldn't mind, a bit of Bad Moon Rising this morning, thank you.
Thank you, Django.
And welcome back to Kindasound Radio on Reality Bites with my gorgeous guest, Andy Barlow. We're going to be talking all things the universe and everything today, and I think.
Oh yeah, we all say we should have a plan what we're going to talk about, but if we do a plan, we never stick to it. So
no, we don't. So we just talk about anything today. But I was thinking, you know, the one we said we've just finished the last section with the children are our future. I think they really are, and there's so many things happening at the moment that we've been saying for years and years. Can people please just wake up, come out of their hypnosis and their indoctrination, and you know, open your eyes to all of the things that you think are unacceptable? Are you going to do something about? That's about it now. Too many people just want to bury their heads in the sand. But the problem is that when they pull their heads out the sand, we're going to be in George Orwell's 1984 before we know what's happened.
This is the problem. Everybody's too busy shouting and saying, we got to do this, we got to do that. But no one's actually come up with a plan. No one's actually done anything. Everybody's out there protesting, save the kids, save the kids. And I argued someone the other day, saying, save the children. They're not your bloody children anyway. You gave them away with your birth certificates. So what are you trying to do? And they went, what? I said, you're using the wrong terminology. Save our kids, save our young ones, save our sons, our daughters. Stop using the word children. That's their words. And I said, so what are you going to do about it? Well, we're trying to raise awareness. I said, well, we all know about it, but what are you going to do about it? Well, I don't know. I said, so before shouting your mouth off, come up with a plan. Get together as a community. How are we going to stop? How are we going to get these kids away from technology? How are we going to do that? For me, it's as simple as this. If it's when my kids were young enough and they started getting technology, they were limited to a certain amount of time a day. And that's it. But nowadays, everybody's busy. And it's a way some parents, and I'm not classing these people as bad people at all, but some people use it to keep the kids quiet.
Yeah.
While they get on with housework or get on with cleaning or get on with work or whatever.
Or get on with their own social media and.
Yeah. You see them, the moms walking down, pushing the pram, and they're all on their phone. I'm thinking, talk to your child, talk to the young one, talk to them.
My mum won't mind me saying this, because she said it's funny in the village she lives. Well, Dad says this as well. They said, you see these poor little dogs that nearly get their necks yanked off because you've got like the woman coming down the street with the pushchair with a child in it, one walking next, like going to primary school, with a little dog on the lead, and she's on her phone, so she's not looking at anything. And the poor little dog wants to stop for a wee and it can't stop, so it's yanks. Do you know what I mean? Dad said, well, both of Mum and Dad said, it's hysterical to watch. But you just think, like, Jesus, what are we breeding? Do you know what I mean? People that are just, like you say, dopamine addicted. So phones, they can't put them down. You go to a restaurant, you sit there, and it's, you know, it just makes me chuckle. Like if I really need to answer a phone when I've gone out for a coffee in the morning, like I had something to do yesterday, I'm actually say to the person I'm with, I really do apologise. Is it okay with you if I just have a quick look at my phone because I've got to send a message? You know, I'll actually ask if it's okay rather than just get the phone out and start, because I think it's bloody rude to start with. But it's taking away all the communication, isn't it, between people?
Yeah, the art of conversation's gone, and unfortunately, we are a lot to blame for that because we've all been brought up in the same system. We've all been brought up with that technology. I mean, some of us are later to the party or whatever, but how do we stop it? That's the question. I don't think you can stop it unless you have a really great big, what's it, the pulse weapon, take all electricity out. But
an EMF pulse, is that what we're going to
that's the one, EMF pulse.
If it happens, that's down to
now
me
you
and
can't
Andy.
play your Minecraft.
Yeah, we apologise in advance. We're going to be in our mad professor state creating EMF pulses. But I think it's I think you hit the nail on the head, and when you said about coming back to community. So it's making decisions in the community when, you know, with everything that's happening in the schooling system at the moment, where we've got, I mean, I do get things sent to me. Someone sent me a picture, and this is driving me insane at the moment. So I do apologise for listeners bringing it. Well, I don't apologise actually for bringing this up on a Saturday morning, because I think it's absolutely disgusting what's happening. But the transgender movement at the moment, right? You can identify as what you want. That's not what gets me. I don't mind. You can identify as blue fluffy cauliflower. I don't mind. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. But it's when you're pushing these things down our children's necks, and then what you're doing is creating books around these subjects, and there are children that think it's perfectly acceptable to mutilate their bodies, when it all comes down to maybe mental health issues, to be honest. I'm finding it's quite sickening. I saw a book, this all kicked off again for me yesterday. I saw a book that said "My Daddy's Belly" on the front, and it was a picture of two men, and one of them was pregnant. And I'm sorry, but on God's earth, the only people that can get pregnant are women with a womb. So that's why they're called a woman. You know, it's a simple, do we really have to spell this out nowadays for people? You know, men impregnate women. Men do not get pregnant.
Yeah,
because they have ovaries in a womb.
They followed the plan, Wendy. This is the problem. They followed everything that's gone forward. I mean, who's created all this? There's only one order that's started all this, and the one order that's corrupting everybody, and that's the Jesuits. They are the ones behind everything. They're the ones that's creating this LGBT microwave parrot-loving people. But that's where it's stemming from, and now they're doing this in the schools. I mean, I saw my grandkids are coming home from school teaching young kids to masturbate and talk about anal sex and God knows what else at the age of 6
between
and 7.
5 and 7.
Excuse me.
Disgusting.
Yeah, and the teachers just go along with it because they want their job. They're just doing their job.
And this is the fundamental issue we have, isn't it? Where it's this is the fundamental wrongness of what I call humanity at the moment, or, you know, living beings at the minute. No one is taking responsibility. Everybody's burying their head for the fear of being labelled
targeted,
discriminative or something, because you're saying that can't happen, when if you use your bloody common sense, you know, men can't have babies, women have wombs, transgender to whatever you like, but, you know, call yourself what you like. But for me as a woman, I think this is why this is really getting on my goat at the moment, because women's rights are actually being taken away. We no longer have a right to privacy. So men can come wandering into our toilets now. You know, now I find this absolutely disgusting. It's taking away actual women's rights now. If you've transgendered into a woman and you're a man, you're not a freaking woman. Do you know what I mean? So I'm quite happy for people to have separate spaces where they can go. Do you know what I mean? But
throw one in the mix here. Go on a government website or any company, any government agencies, and fill in a form. They ask you a question: what sex are you? There's only two they ever asked for: male or female. So hang on a minute. The government's allowing all this, but they're only saying there's actually two sexes. So what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's the screwing up of society, isn't it? To, like you say, fulfill the deeper agendas.
And it is a dark agenda. It's a very dark agenda. I mean,
Yeah.
when you start reading the Noahide law and you start looking into the Talmud and everything else, you start thinking, Christ, they really are here to destroy the West.
Yeah, I've not really looked into that. Could you explain a little bit about the Jesuits
Yes,
just in brief, so
let's look at
people who
Iban.
are listening can go and have a little research themselves?
A lot of people talk about the Bilderbergs, the Rockefellers, and Rothschilds, all that lot. Well, they're all. I'm not classing every Jew as a bad Jew. Like I don't class every Muslim as a bad Muslim. There are certain extremities of it, extremes to it. But the Jesuit order have been going for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. They created everything that we see today. They infiltrate every business, everything you do. Look at the majority of films. Look at the film directors. They're all Jewish. Look at most major companies. The top of the companies are all Jewish. They're all part of the Jesuit order. Now, Jesuit order is an order of people that started the Second World War. That will cause controversy. People that go, what? No, it wasn't Hitler. No, it wasn't. Go and do your research. The Russian Bolsheviks, which are the Jesuit order, or the Khazarian Jews, for another word, and Churchill started the Second World War. They are there for profit, so they will start these things and make profit out of it. They treat everybody who's not Jewish as goyim, animals. We're no better than an animal, so therefore they will treat us as animals. So the Noahide law that's being pushed at the moment, which a lot of people they class as Sharia law, which isn't. Noahide law is very similar to anyone who says, I love Jesus will be beheaded in the street, or anybody who plays homage to false prophets, etc. It's about creating division. So they want to install Noahide law, a form of Sharia law, worldwide. And that is where the sinister is going. Because if you read the Clergy Plan, the Barcelona Declaration, the Nice Treaty, etc., you'll see it's all sinister. It's all in there. What they're trying to do: flood the West with migration and rid the world of the white race. That's their sinister plan. And if they can corrupt children in the long run and get them on to be corruptible and follow their plans, their game. That's what they do.
So there's
It's
some,
very sinister and dark.
yeah, there's some bits and pieces for people to go and have a little. I was thinking, go and do your own research. That's one thing that a lot of people don't tend to do, is go and look into these things and have a look back. And like you
Oh,
said,
exactly.
go and check out company structure. I had a look at. There's a guy called Luke Belmay that I
Mm-hmm.
follow. Very interesting guy he is. I think he's on TikTok. And I watched one of his videos the other day, and it was a live he was doing, and he had some website up while he was on it, and he was saying to people, "Give me the name of a large corporation, anything, first one McDonald's." And he went on there, went bang, bang, bang. Let's have a look who owns it, who's the major shareholders. BlackRock, Vanguard. Now, who do BlackRock and Vanguard hold all the investment money for? The people above. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was going through literally every firm. It's all the same shareholders, all the same people that run everything. So it's a matter of what's currently happening, isn't it? It's destroying our infrastructure, all of our small business. So it just everything ends up in the hands of the global scum, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's all controllable. It's the same with the digital currency, which all these people, this is quite, if you listeners think about it, it's quite terrifying, really, when you think about digital currency and a chip in your hand. Number one, you're being chipped like a dog. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even like chipping my dog because I didn't like
No.
anything in him, but at least he could be found. But you'll be chipped in your hand like a dog. So you have to tap your hand on everything. If you don't, your money is programmable. Digital money is all programmable. And this is the bit that I don't think people realize. They just go, oh yeah, it's so easy. Hey, I can just tap my hand.
Mm.
Everything you now buy is now monitored. It
Mm-hmm.
already probably is anyway through your debit card, because they can see what your shopping receipts are, etc. But everything will be monitored and programmable. So an example would be, if you've got a health condition, I don't know, like you've got too much fat in your body or something like that, and they decide that that's it, they will now limit your access. You won't be able to purchase anything that has a certain calorie content.
Mm-hmm.
So all of your Krispy Kreme donuts that you like eating, and your little McDonald's that you like to go and get, and your Burger King, you're not going to be able to purchase these things because the
No.
money's programmable. So every
Yeah,
time you go to tap it and pay for it, it won't let you.
exactly.
If you've not put in enough brownie points to have your holiday, you won't be able to buy your holiday.
Exactly.
It's just
And unfortunately, it's like you say, the sleeping masses going along with it just for the ease of their, oh, it's going to be so easy to do this. They don't see the bigger picture because they're non-player characters. They're not part of our realm. They're not part of what we're doing. They're
Yeah.
just there to make up the numbers. But more and more people are starting to wake up. I mean, more people are waking up about like Maui, the fires over there. More and more people are starting to wake up about these alleged UFO incidents and all that. More and more people start asking questions. What about cash? Well, cash is going. There's nothing you can do about that. It's going to go. It is going to be digital. But how you make it digital and how you look after your digital money, there's ways of doing it. So you got to start researching stuff. Well, people just want nine out of 10 people I speak to that's not in the community out on the street say, "Oh yeah, it's great, isn't it? We're going to be able to make life so much easier." I said, "Yeah, when they lock everything down and you can't access anything because you've got a bloody chip in your hand, you can't travel, you can't do this. What are you going to do?"
Yeah.
Well, just it's obviously they'll lock us down for a reason. Yeah, the boiling planet.
That's another subject, the boiling planet, isn't it? Well, we'll come to that one in a second. Yeah. Oh, actually, next song, "Don't Stop Me Now," Queen.
Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
come from basically where I've been. I've been sort of in dark spaces and everything, but where I am now, I'm starting to move myself forward really fast. I'm saying, "You can't stop me now. Watch out." There's so much going on in my life, so much that's happening for good. It's just a good run. I think we've got to the top of the roller coaster. Now I'm heading downwards and just enjoying the loops.
That
It's good
sounds like
fun.
fun, and that sounds like fun. Django, if you wouldn't mind, please, "Don't Stop Me Now" this morning. Thank you. And welcome back to Kind of Sounds with Reality Bites with my lovely guest Andy Barlow this morning. And we're hopefully winding a few people up and waking a few people up today. And I just want to, because we're touching on a few subjects that are like in the news at the
Oh dear.
the fires in Maui, very interesting, that one. Have you seen the down pictures of the lovely circular fires, and
Yeah.
they've not touched all the multi-million-pound mansions that are slap bang next door?
Yeah, but
How does that
they'll
happen?
explain that. They'll explain that way. The wind was in the wrong direction.
Yeah, how does that happen? But I saw a friend posted this weird plane that I've not seen before. Have you seen the
Hmm.
plane with the big glass dome on the bottom
Yeah.
that can like project? They can actually
Mm.
project. This is a
Light.
thing, guys. This is a thing, by the way. Everybody who's
Mm.
listening, watching this, you can actually project heat. It's like a direct
Yeah.
energy weapon. So you can
It
actually,
Remember what you used to be able to do with a magnifying glass with ants? Sorry, ants, but you used to be able to burn things. That's exactly what it is.
yes,
It's focus energy weapon, like you say, or direct energy weapon that can start a fire,
yeah,
can actually obliterate a person based on their energy.
yeah. Just one, but they're directive as well.
Mm.
So you can just hit like whatever area you want. They're absolutely mental bits of kit. They really,
Mm.
really are. But if
But
you look at one of the like overhead maps
mm,
when you're looking at those Maui fires, you can see circular patterns. Fires don't burn in perfect circles.
no, it's very rare.
It is very rare. It's very
But
interesting, but most people don't think, do they, about it? They just go,
no,
"Oh, God, no, look, we've been told there's wildfires that have taken out most of Hawaii."
or the planet's boiling, or extreme temperatures in Europe. I mean, when we were out in Spain, they're talking on the news. There's a massive heat wave across Europe, and people are dying and dropping dead in the streets. We hit 41 degrees in one day, and we spoke to the locals. Said, "Oh, is this unusual?" No, this is cold for this time of year. They said normally it's around about 45s, 50s. They said, but we're having weird weathers this time. We've got more humidity, but less heat. And I think the max we after that we got to was 35, which was bearable.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a problem. But it's the way that people are believing the media still that, oh yes, the planet is boiling. No, it isn't.
It's
The
not.
only thing
We're
that's
in one of
boiling is my rage towards you.
exactly that we're now got to the point where we're trying to control the rage. We've gone from it's one of them, I want to sit in this lovely balanced space and go, I'm not getting involved in the Gong Show. But every time you stick a foot back out in the asylum, you just
I
think,
know,
oh, dear Lord, what's happening now, isn't it?
I know.
Seriously.
I still try not to get involved. I try not to get involved with the fear porn, but sometimes things slip through, and I go, yeah, it's worth having a mention on this one.
Yeah, that's it. I'm down here. I'm having this experience with you lot. I'm just gonna stick my 2 pence worth in today, and then I'm going back to like lovely Wendy Land over here. Yeah, and sticking with it. But it is interesting. I mean, a friend Charlie, he always says it's an exciting time to be alive. And I go,
No, it
really?
is. It is.
Really? I still haven't quite got the excitement for it yet.
No. I think you're right on that one. I'm still waiting for that to knock on the door and say, "Here's your box of excitement for you." But we haven't seen that yet. It is a good time to be alive because there's so much we can do. But how can we do it when we're not working together?
Yeah,
That's the
it's
problem.
the community, isn't it? It's building. Well, this is what this radio station is all about.
Yeah.
It's building community. How do you get people awake and aware enough that they start, you start talking to your neighbours again.
Mm-hmm.
Start having your Thursday night meetings where you can all get together and decide what you want in your community, and then expand that into maybe small community centres of I'm not going to say the word government because we know what that means, but we
just
need
need
to be self-governing.
we just need to be anarchists. That's all we need to be.
Anarchists.
Yeah.
What does that word mean?
Well, what the media want you to believe is anarchy is about setting fire to buildings and looting and whatever. Anarchy doesn't mean that at all. Anarchy means you're self-governing. You do not have leaders. You do not have anybody telling you what to do. You have your own life. You create your own rules, but as long as you stick to the universal law of nature or God's law, whatever, causing harm, cause no loss to another fellow man or woman, you live your life as normal. You do not need government. You don't need them. You are your own government if that's what you want.
And
But
the thing
government,
is, the current system we have at the moment as well, I mean, you're not asked anything. This is the whole point of, like I keep saying to people, with everything that's going on from, because I do keep an eye on what happens in their policy making department, just for shits and giggles, to be realistic about anything. Everything that goes on there, they do not ask your permission. And they are there through our consent only. We vote them in. Well, we don't. It's all rigged. But it's not me being pessimistic. That's the truth. That's why I don't vote, because it's pointless. But they're all one leg of the same beast, an arm or a leg of the same beast. So whoever's in is just doing. They're just being puppeteered by someone else. But it's every single thing that is done by these people, utilising our finances, even though we know the fiat currency is anyway, but it is using our finances because we have to dip into it. We're not asked. There is no referendum on, actually we're going to pay £5,000 or £70,000 or £50,000 to every immigrant to send them back to the country they came from. Do you lot agree with that?
Do you know the reason what? Did you know? So I reckon the reason is because how can they talk to you? They can't ask your permission. You're dead.
Because of the birth certificate.
Exactly. So therefore they can only talk to persons. They can't talk to people. The government were forsworn to protect the people, but they changed all that when they started creating all the legislation regarding persons relating to the birth certificate. So that's why they can get away with everything, because they can't speak to you.
Right, explain that one, because that's just hurt my head mildly on a Sunday morning.
Oh, dear
that one must have bypassed me in our training over the last 3 years, Andy, somewhere, that one.
It's stuff that comes to me still. I look into things a bit deeper. Okay, so if you look at any legislation or anything, any statute, act, statute, whatever, it always refers to the person.
Yeah.
You are not the person. Are you not a living sentient being?
Yes.
Are you not a spirit inside a meat suit having an experience?
Yes.
So how can a corporation that can only talk to the dead talk to you when you're not dead? Because you're not the birth certificate. That name is not you. That is Crown copyright. That is theirs. They own that, so they can do what they like with that name. And they take it
as a given that they don't need your permission for anything, because they're talking to you as a people. They're talking to you as a dead corporation.
Exactly. Which corporations means dead speaking.
Yeah.
So when they say, "Oh, we need a referendum," no matter what we do with the referendum, they're going to go what they want, because it's their rules. This is their game. They play the system how they want to play it. So when I hear things like this, I go, let me think, and then boom, when it comes, I go, yeah, that's because we are not the person. We are only the person if we agree that we're dead.
Which is interesting. This is still the education, isn't it, that people actually really need to start. This is all the stuff that we're not taught in school. Well, we should be taught in school.
Exactly.
So that We have a say in what goes on. I think this is the reason why it all needs to stop, doesn't it? Like, so someone said to me today, actually, this is an interesting concept. He likes a bit of history, and he said the downfall of every civilization was sexualization.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what do you mean by that? And he took me through, like, quickly, like, read off, you know, through to like the Roman Empire. But he said the downfall of every single civilization was when sexualization became a general talking point, and everybody was, I like the Romans, you know, over sexualized, always talking about it. It all became about that. He said, if you look back through history, every single great civilization that crashed, it got to that point where we're in the point where we are now, with you know, the gender stuff going on, the over sexualization of women, of children, of, you know, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, so what you're watching at the moment, based on that and based on history of when these civilizations crash, you know, or the ruling structure crashes, as he put it, the ruling structure, he called it. He said, but when you see them all crashes, we're in it now. He said, when you look at everything that's happening now, he said the ruling classes it's crashing because it's going through the same cycle.
Yeah, it's cyclical, isn't it? And then it's going to happen.
We need it massively.
Oh, don't we?
So we can restart. And I think the thing is as well, there's so many people, because if you watch the media or you pay attention to anything that goes on a lot of the social media streams, you would think that within yourself, you're the only person thinking and feeling differently about everything that's going on. But actually, there's a lot of people thinking and feeling differently.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate. I think you hit the nail on the head a few conversations back. A lot of people are worried, fearful of being identified as a troublemaker or controversial person or whatever, or sticking their nose in where it's not wanted type thing. So that's really where a lot of people go to, and I think it's sad when they're in that situation. If you got some sort of thing to say it. Doesn't mean you're weird. Just means you're wired differently.
Yeah. Well, it's all the things. I just look at it like parents. I think with parents who've got kids in school, you've got two options at the minute. Either let them continue throughout the education system as it's going and basically destroy their souls, or, you know, you can either pull them out of that system, or you can go and confront the system.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight to source, to that place, wherever your kids are. If all of the parents turned up at a school one morning, said, we want to see the head teacher now, or the chief execs, or whoever run the trusts, and said, we're not happy with this, and the kids aren't coming back into school until you stop this, it would change.
Of course it would.
And it would change rapidly.
It just takes us to do it. But too many people are busy talking but not acting.
Saying that, though, I've seen some wonderful stuff. There's a woman who's actually taking the government to task now about the education of the children at the moment. And she's got a court case going through, which is really interesting to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot starting to happen. A lot of people are going, hang on, I don't agree with this, but that's not, like I say, some people are actually starting to stick their head above the parapet and start doing something about it, which is good.
Yeah. And I was going to have a little rant as well about, I see so many people, I'm not going to rant about them though, but I see so many people that are on large platforms in the personal development world, and they're always talking about, you know, being better within yourself on a daily basis, but it's like they're just totally ignoring everything over here, and they're on such a large platform that through their voice they could do something massive, like,
of course they could,
globally. However, through whatever it is within them, whether it's because they want the fame, they don't want to tarnish their reputation, or whatever it is, these people are just, they don't say anything about any of it.
No,
whatsoever.
And it's a shame, because their sort of following is what we're trying to get with the community we're building. What Jen and I are trying to do is build the community so we have a voice to everyone, and that everyone else has a voice, that you can be heard in a safe and structured environment, that you don't have to fear about anybody taking the mickey out of you. It's a safe environment, and that's what we do need. But unfortunately, we don't get to the numbers that these people do, because I think a lot of them got handlers. There's a lot of government handlers behind a lot of these big people, these influencers. That's what I do. Look, I know there's some really good people out there as well.
Yeah, I saw an interesting one. We'll do another song and then we'll come back to this, because this is something I only saw yesterday that I thought was quite interesting, actually. And I'm curious to know how it's going to play out. But Hot Love, T-Rex.
takes me so Charlie. Takes me back to my days when I was working in the pottery. Is one of the songs that's always played on the cassette tape there. It was brilliant.
So Django, bit of hot love for us on a Sunday morning, please.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Kindasound on Reality Bites. And I have my gorgeous guest Andy Barlow talking all things triggering, hopefully this morning. All things triggering, I'd like this to be.
Yes.
To people to start thinking, critically thinking is what I would really love to wake up, to walk into a supermarket and hear conversations around, I've had enough of this. Did you know this is happening? I'm going to do this about it. That's where I really want to get. Before we went on the break, I said to you something I've heard recently. I saw it was like an advert that had been put together. And I know we have a lot of celebrities that are on the bandwagon and stuff, but Russell Brand has put together something quite interesting. And I'm not sure how I feel about Russell Brand. However, he makes a lot of noise. He's put together something to stop the lying in Parliament, to make it actually a criminal offence. And I thought, now this is very interesting. Yeah, I know you're doing eyes sideways. I thought it was very interesting because this is one thing for me. If we lied to the government, it would be taken as a criminal offence and it could be punishable with a prison sentence. But if the government lies to you in their manifestos, what happens?
Nothing, because we don't hold them to task.
It's interesting, isn't it? And it's all these little things that I think people really need to be aware of and start thinking about and going, actually, hang on, this isn't how we want things now.
But then isn't it a question of, we don't want government, so let's build our communities, let's live our lives, let's build our own systems, our own way. I mean, I revert back to the TV series The Last Kingdom. I don't know if you ever watched it.
No, I don't think I have.
It's a Netflix one, but it's very good. So it's about the Danes and the Brits, basically. But it shows you how communities can work together. So, like, for instance, like the guys up the road are fishermen, so they'll come down and trade furs for fish, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Not saying we have to do that, but we don't need government. We don't need someone to tell us what to do or someone to give us an idea of what we can do. We can do what we want. They do. They do it in the private. They travel all over the world with no passports, no border control, no customs, because that's what they are. But they don't let us do it because we adhere to their rules and regulations. We've got to stop adhering to their rules and regulations, become the anarchists that we need to be. Live your life peacefully and freely, and a man can only own what he creates.
And then build it from
build the communities. I mean, communities used to work. One of the things they used to say in the Last Kingdom was Bevenberg will go to war with Mercia, and they said they sit around the table first. They go, yeah, we want to take your land, and they and all that. They said, but and then someone said, what would it do to stop us going to war? And they go, I'll tell you what, give me 10 pieces of silver and let me marry your daughter, and then we'll call it a day. And they go, okay, and they get on life. Do you know what I mean? So the community works on the basis of communication, common unity, communication. But there isn't much out of that. But for me, government just needs to go. We do not need government. We created them for ourselves, but
we can uncreate them.
Exactly, because you've got God, man, woman, government, persons.
Yeah.
So they're below us. They have no authority over a living man or woman. So we just need to get rid of.
Currently, they
live our own lives.
I think the more our energetic, because we were talking originally about energy and frequency popped in the conversation very early on, and I do truly have this belief. That's why I try and stay out of I only put a foot in the asylum every now and then, so it doesn't lower my vibration too much. I do truly believe that when we raise our energetic self, that all the negative stuff, it will naturally just drop off anyway. That when we're just focused on, it's like you say, having a plan, Andy, isn't it? When you're focused on where you want to go and you've got a clear vision of what that looks like, and you just keep staying focused on that, stay in your lane, just keep going in that direction, and you keep the energy in that space. I think all that stuff will naturally just drop away because no one's going to be paying any attention to it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I always revert back to the video I did. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to. Because when you pay attention to something, what are you paying with? You're paying with your energy. So I tend to let a lot of things go, but then certain things would get me and my energy would drop and I'll end up in as Jen puts it, a grumpy old fart or whatever, because I've gone back down, my energy's have dropped again. But it's yeah, it's weird because if I'm not like I am now, if I don't let things come into here, I'll just keep on a straight even curve. But then something will come in and snap at you, and you, whoa, whatever, and you think, okay, that was my ego come back at me, and we got to try and do that. But you're right. If we could all raise that frequency in the right way and keep it in the right way, then naturally everything else would just drop off. We won't have to worry about the negativity.
And it can be as simple as just looking at how you regulate your day,
Mm,
how you regulate yourself. I watched a
yeah,
Have you
great.
heard of Barbara O'Neill? I think she's
Heard the name.
Australian naturopathic doctor. Amazing woman.
Okay,
Uses all natural remedies for everything, but fascinating woman. And she did something. I caught one of her videos the other day, and it was regarding thought. And obviously,
okay,
I'm an NLP master trainer, so thought
yeah,
is one of those things that I pay attention to. But one of the quickest ways to lower your energy, lower your vibration, and lead you into the negative in life is just keep thinking and talking negative.
yeah.
It can be that simple. So life transformation can be this simple. Listen
Mm,
to what you say and listen
yes,
to
no,
what you
you're
do.
right. And that's a big learning curve I'm learning, that even without in Spain, even being back here, is what you say about yourself is what will manifest. So if you constantly say, "Oh, I'm no use, I'm useless," well, then the universe will say, "Well, yeah, you are. So be that then." But if you put the positivity out there, say, "Yeah, everything's good, money's in abundance, whatever," things will happen. And I'm already noticing when I've changed my tune again, trying to keep my frequency high, how things are now changing. Things are starting to come into my life again. So, okay, yeah, it's good. I'm allowing it in.
Yeah. And it's
But
it's the affirmation of it when it comes in, like recognize it and go, thank you for that.
mm,
Right?
yeah,
More of that. So
yeah,
how did I create that? I created that by whatever daily habit it is, by getting up in the morning, not getting on your phone for an hour, or
hmm,
do you know what I mean?
yeah,
You first, connecting into yourself. I go sit in the garden and put my feet on the grass and
yeah,
at least half an hour of just recharging the body properly before I even look at a phone in the morning.
mm,
Just me first. How do you set your day up? A trainer of mine, I remember an old trainer of mine, he used to say you can create the right state or a right old state. And it's
that's
just
quite good actually.
just your choice in the morning. Do you have any
Is it?
particular habits and things you do then?
When I was out in Spain, it was usually up early, work on the land. So you in barefoot. I was around in barefoot a lot, so I was grounding all the time. So I was doing a lot of stuff out there, and then just chill and whatever for the day because you can't really work in the heat of the day. So we just siesta or we just talk or just sleep or whatever. And then in the evening do some more. But now I'm back in the UK, those are gone. And it feels like I've just dropped back into the rat race again. Like, here we go again. Yesterday I was up at 6:30 and I was on the laptop nearly all day just because I've fallen behind a lot of stuff when I was out there. I was like, I gotta catch up, I gotta catch up. And then today I thought, no, I don't. No, I don't. It'll get done when it gets done. So I took the time out, went to Halfords, got some bits and pieces for the van to do tonight. And then I took little Charlie for a walk. And we thought, yeah, this is what life should be. We should be enjoying it more. Something else on fire. It's in the angels. But yeah, it's how we structure our day, and I need to get back to structuring my day better. I've fallen back into the rat race, unfortunately, as I got back here. But
Yeah,
it'll
I
change.
do my best to balance, to keep sort of out of it. I still have to integrate
Mm,
a little bit in it through work.
mm,
See, but
yeah,
apart from that aspect of it, well, I don't mind. I don't mind work though. It's all right life,
no.
so it's all good. So, Andy, what's coming in the future then? Because at the moment, haven't you started a website?
Yes, we've started a private members website. So basically, if anybody wants to learn how to be in the private, we've got keeping everything in the private, which makes sense. So it's censorship free. It's a full social media platform we've created. So it's not only just for legal lawful, it's for health and wellness, it's for spiritual health, it's for lots of healers, nutritionists, naturopaths, pets, doulas, etc. So we're getting all these people bringing their businesses on, and anybody can bring their business onto our website for free. There's no charge for that whatsoever. But the whole idea is the community is literally to bring people together. We've got 140 members currently at the moment. We'd like to see that 14,000, 140,000, 1.4 million, whatever. We'd love to see that grow. Eventually, we're sure it will. But the way it is at the moment, it's a really great little community. The people that come on the Zooms every week, they're all sitting there and we're all talking. We're coming up with suggestions together. We're coming up with ways forward. We're trying to help as many people as possible. But now people have realised it's not my website. It's not Jen's website. It's not our website. It's everybody's website. It's the communities, and everybody has a voice. Everybody has ideas. So tell us, and let's all sit. Let's get this organised. So that's for me is what's coming out in the future. Is we're trying to get away from the legal processes. There's other things coming which I can't discuss at this moment in time. But it's more about the empowerment side and bringing people in to say, look, you've got everything you need. It's there. Let us guide you through. But here's other things that can help you. So NLP, or it could be a healer, or it could be, or just come for a bit of retail therapy with people's own stuff they create, natural soaps or crystals, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all there. But we're now creating an international community. So we've already got one started in Spain for obvious reasons. So we've got gridders out there coming on board, which is quite nice to see.
Okay, cool. And if people want to join, how do they do that?
I'll send you the link if you want to put it at the bottom of this one for anyone to join. Just click on there and choose a plan. We do have fun. We do have upkeep for the website and everything else and research and everything. So it's $11.11 a month or £99 a year, which is obviously saves you quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
But what you get for that is you get access to all the platforms. I think we're at 20 platforms, different things in there already. So, and there's a wealth of research. All the templates you need are in there. Everything's in there, and you don't get charged for anything else once you're in there.
Cool.
And it's a totally private website.
So for anybody who wants to know more about building community, about standing back in your power, basically knowing who you are, empowering yourself, being able to stand up for your rights, which you have because you're free anyway. So
yes.
Just learning all of these things, it's a great place to be. So I'll put the link. I'll make sure the link goes out with the video.
Lovely, thank you.
So that.
And I'll drop you my email as I think we're just email me questions, whatever. But one thing I do want to add on there is we're going to start doing workshops again, but workshops with role play.
Yeah.
So helping people stand up to what they class as alleged authority.
Yeah.
So we're going to start rolling those out now as well.
I think that's what builds confidence, Andy. Once you've done something, once you've said it a few times and you know that actually no one has a right to tell you what to do if you're not causing loss or harm or breaching the peace.
Exactly, and I can only help people from my experiences.
Yeah.
I can't help them from things I've never dealt with. So I've dealt with police, I've dealt with debt collectors, I've dealt with everything so far. The only thing I haven't dealt with is high courts or whatever. So that's the next one I'll try for. But I'll try not to go down that road.
Yeah, let's not go into that space just yet. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today.
You're most welcome.
It's an absolute pleasure again. It's nice just to have a general chit chat about general subjects.
Yeah, it's been good. Good subjects covered. So thank you very much for inviting me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolute pleasure. And we're going to play out with Kashmir from Led Zeppelin this morning as well. Anything special about this one for you?
No, not really. It's just an amazing tune. It's just Led Zeppelin. That's all I need to say on that one.
So for those of you Led Zeppelin lovers out there, Django, if you wouldn't mind, a bit of Kashmir to play us out. And thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Bye.